What's up guys, Clark here. Welcome back to the channel. And listen, if there's one habit I could give you this year going into next that would completely change your life, hands down, it would be keeping a journal. And I can say that as someone who has been keeping one pretty much daily for over 10 years. I mean, you want more confidence, you want better relationships, you want to make more money, you want just more peace of mind, you got to keep a journal because you can't do any of that until you really know yourself. So this video is our annual tradition we've been doing for over 8 years now. We've had some funky outfits along the way, including a Grinch onesie, a Power Ranger, vampire, astronaut. Last year, you guys were roasting me in the comments saying, dude, where are the outfits? Come on, bring it back. I gotcha. Luigi, coming at ya. So a little format for this video: why, what, how. Why you should keep a journal, in Luigi's humble opinion. What this method is, a quick overview. And most importantly, how do you do it so you're walking away able to do this? So let's start with the biggest reason why you should keep a journal. I want you to think of the last year. How many thoughts did you consume from others? Probably a lot. We're all locked in our phones. There's a podcast, people telling their ideas. You're watching videos like this. If that's on one side of the scale, the other side of the scale is this question. How many ideas did you consume that were your own? You might be thinking, oh, I think to myself all day, every day, but that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, really digging down for your own opinions, your own truths, your own meaning. And look, I'm right there with you. Okay, this year I caught myself falling asleep to podcasts, or there's 10 minutes before my improv class and I'm reaching for my phone, cramming another couple videos. With journaling, this is the place you stop looking for answers and you start listening to them. 9 times out of 10, you know what to do. You know the solution to your biggest problems. You know what the answers are. You're just blocked and you need to tap into them for yourself. And the journal is the best place I have found to do that, which is why it's my longest standing habit for over a decade. This next reason why you should keep a journal, in my opinion, is to combat brain rot. Attention spans have progressively gotten shorter and shorter. We don't even do one thing anymore. Dual viewing is big, where you have like a 10 series Netflix documentary that should have been an hour and you're like on your phone the whole time watching it, right? The way you combat this brain rot, this attention span shrinkage, so that you can live life and feel just fired up, is by slowing down. It's like taking a magnifying glass. This is how your focus works. You can look through it and see things, but if you focus it and there's a sunbeam on top of it coming down, focuses all that energy onto a leaf, that leaf starts burning. And with journaling, I pause and read when I'm looking back on old ones. Versus if I'm just scrolling through like Notion notes and it all looks the same, my brain, maybe you're this way too, but I find my brain kind of glossing over and zoning out more. It's the slow that is good, because when you slow down, you're able to maintain things, you can focus more, and it has a soul that ones and zeros don't. And real quick, if you want our help creating the 2.0 version of yourself with a journal, I'll link down below to our My Best Journal program. This has deep dive tutorials. I scanned 50 pages of my raw journals in there if you want to see by learning. There's also guided workshops in there and just way more detail than we have time to get into in these videos. There's also a coupon code for YouTube subs that'll hook it up and help you get started. So this method, you take a blank sketchbook, okay? No lines. Number 2, you think about 3 big sections in your life that you want to journal on. You also use the front and the back cover, which we'll go into when we set this up. And the most important thing, I recommend swapping this every year, regardless if it's full or not. That's it. So next, I want to walk you through the process and how to do this, and more importantly, what it looks like. Let's talk about the front cover and then the back cover, and finally end with the sections you write. So this is my 2025 journal. Opening this up, this is what the front cover looks like. So I like to view this as your 1% lessons for the year. And it's important that you use the front cover because this is super underutilized real estate, in my opinion, when people talk about journaling. You know, they think about what goes in here, but you're looking at this every time you open it. These are like shower thoughts, the 1% ideas you've had this year that when you look back on your journal, you want to remember some of these. I'll walk you through some examples from our 2025 journal. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi. How about this one? You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. Mark Twain. I got the Serenity prayer here. Love that one. about letting go. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Sometimes it's just a saying. Fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. Sometimes just a word, grounded. You want to remember that this year, like grounded. And for me, that was an intention I had this year, was feeling more grounded and centered, especially when teaching and creating content. How about Yoon says the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The best revenge is to not be what you oppose, Marcus Aurelius. One of my biggest lessons this year is you run out of energy when you run out of future. So many of our problems come down not to habits or routines or, self-improvement tidbits, although important, but it comes down to a lack of vision for where you want to go with your life. Okay, what are the next 5 years going to look like for you? Do they get you excited? Because if they don't get you excited, of course, you're going to be in this mundane sleepwalking state. Who wouldn't drink? Who wouldn't smoke? Who wouldn't look at pornography? Who wouldn't have bad habits? That's where those creep in, is when you're not like amped about this new version of yourself. All right, so what the heck is this number that we just wrote? 20,440. This is our 2024 journal. This is 21,170, 21,500. What is that number? That is the amount of days you have from birth until 90 years old. It's 32,850. I call this the mortality number. Personally, for me, I've seen people this year pass away, and death is something we don't always think about in our culture until it's right in front of us. And then things feel real, right? I know if you've ever experienced the death of a loved one or a pet, you can relate to that. So I personally like seeing it front and center, and that helps me find motivation to live it to the fullest. Our problems that we think we have are insignificant compared to that. To find this, you take 32,850, the amount of days you have until 90, and you multiply your age times 365, subtract that number from the total. Last thing I'll highlight here is these letters here, ENFJ. This is my personality type, but I have two here that I recommend doing. This is the Myers-Briggs test. It'll give you a 4-digit code. There's sites like 16 Personalities where you can do that for free, or you might already know yours off the top. And this is one I gave all coaching clients. It's our strengths test from Martin Seligman. He's like one of the OGs with positive psychology. And he says that the secret to a good life is knowing your strengths and using them often. All right, so for me, creativity, love of learning, wisdom, curiosity, humor, and playfulness. This is so cool because when you're doing what you love, I guarantee you look at your strengths and you're using them. And what's also cool is we're all different, so your strengths are gonna look different than this. So sometimes the question of how do I find my purpose, like that's so overwhelming and daunting because it has a lot of pressure, doesn't it? But if the question is, how can I use my strengths? That's a much more manageable question that gives you better answers. For me, this is creating content. I mean, I get to tap into all of these: love of learning, creativity, wisdom, curiosity, humor, playfulness. We crack some bad jokes, do a little bad improv, bomb on camera, but I like it. And that's a good reminder looking in your front cover journal every day. Good on the front cover. All right, let's flip it and go to the back cover. So if your front cover is where you write who you're becoming, your back cover is where you write where you're going. Big on goals. I love them. I think everyone should have some. I've had times where I didn't have any goals and I was just kind of like, let's do what feels inspired today. And I compare those years to the years I was locked in and had goals. It's not even close. Now there's a lot of complex goal setting techniques out there you can do. For me, I've found if it's simple, it sticks. So I like to recommend you set goals in 3 major areas: work, rest, and play. You see, I have one for each here: work, rest, play. And the way I would describe this is if you think of a triangle, an equilateral one, that's what we're trying to do with your life, where it's in balance. You can think about times in your life where you had a lot of rest and a lot of play. That's called sloth, where we don't have any ambition and we're just kind of mailing it in and we're like, dude, it would be nice to get back to work. I feel antsy. Then you have times where you're working and resting and doing nothing fun. That's where we get burnout. Every day is the same, man. Life's a bitch, then you die. Well, that's burnout right there because you're not playing at all. You're not having anything that's exciting. What about times you're working and playing but not resting? Well, that's just called being in your 20s. Hitting the bars. Super fun. Super unsustainable. Now, if you're curious how many goals you should set, because clearly I have a lot here and I'm an intense dude, you don't have to have this. I would recommend 3 big ones for each. That's it. Keep it really simple this year. So think about work. This is anything that you can measure with a metric. So for me in content creation, it's how many videos I want to create, or revenue in a business, or metrics I'm trying to hit that year. Resting is anything that is recharging for you. So this could be, for me, this is like health goals here, meditation, fasting challenges, habits I'm trying to break. Like I'm doing right now currently 100 days without caffeine. And that's been on my goals list for years. And just seeing, okay, what's my state like without this thing I've been doing for 20 years? And then lastly, your play goals. All right, this is the fun stuff. So for me, this is when we're getting new dogs and I'm putting them through training. I got 2 German Shepherds running around. Pack management is something we've had to do this year. That goes there. When I moved to Arizona, that goes there. Getting an electric drum set, that goes there. Here's something that changed my mind about goals completely. You know, I spoke about years I didn't have them and why I felt kind of lost and lacking vision. And then the years that I do and I'm locked in and excited, even if I hit it or not, that's not the point. The thing that changed my perspective was learning how dopamine works in your brain. Most people confuse dopamine with pleasure. That's not it. Dopamine is secreted in anticipation of rewards. So the buildup to something builds dopamine. Like if you had the end result versus the amount you get in the process, the amount of you working towards your goals gives you way more. The other thing I think about with goals and why they help you come alive, people have these rules. I'll be happy when I make $1 million. I'll be happy when I hit 1 million subscribers. Believe me, I had them too. And then you get that thing and you realize it wasn't the thing that made you happy. It was progress. Progress is what makes you happy. That has hit me so hard this year. All along the way, it's you progressing and leveling up that makes you feel so good. Who you become in the process is the real reward. Not what you get, but who you become. Good on back cover, front cover. All right, moving on to the big question. You might be asking, what do you actually put in this journal? So in the past, I experimented with 6 sections. I would have things like, family, health, finances, business, content ideas. And I found it to be useful, but also there were some sections where I was like, I could combine these. Or there were some sections where I gave it 30 pages and it could have been, I only used 3 that year. So this year I experimented with only having 3 sections and I love it. So I'll walk you through those 3 sections, give you a few example pages to spark some ideas on how you can use it. First up, we got student. This is anything I am learning, any events I go to. This is also books that I'm reading. I'll log ideas in here. For example, in The Comfort Crisis, which is a great book, read this year, this is the concept of comfort creep. And then I'll write down like the study that it cites. And I try as much as possible to link ideas from my own life to it. Here's one for The Art of War. This year I was challenging myself to go back and read some classics. So each one is like a 1-page challenge where I try to cram the book on 1 page with the big ideas. Here's another 2-pager. Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky, read that this year. Deep book. I mean, you want to read 600 pages translated from Russian, written in 1866. That thing is tough to get through. So many ideas from it though. And sometimes these are just YouTube videos that I find and I'm writing notes about them. All right, the next section I experimented with this year was creative. Anything I'm creating. So this is YouTube ideas and content. You might have seen some chart videos on this channel. Well, a lot of those first initial sketches I put in here. So this is one on the self-sabotaging cycle. I'm sketching out, okay, how would that look on a chart? Journaling is also where I do a lot of business brainstorming, which may or may not be relevant to you. But if you have a business, man, keeping a journal and going back through year after year and seeing what changes you were thinking of, what stuck, what didn't, I get so many insights just from my old brainstorms. I had that idea 3 years ago. Maybe now is the right time to act on it. Or like, oof, I'm glad I didn't pursue that idea. That would have been a giant time suck and wouldn't have gone anywhere. Where else do I have ideas like that I should just take behind the barn and shoot, so to speak? And the last section here is I labeled freedom. Okay, so this is anything that's a brain dump, free flow ideas. Sometimes I'm working from journal prompts and I just want to let myself rip and write. That goes in here. If you want really good prompts, I put together the 11 questions to change your life as a free bonus for signing up on our email list. These are some of the same 11 questions I asked when I was 30 grand in debt in my mom's basement. So 100% free, it's in the link below. And that's a good place to start and just start filling them up in the back cover of your journal. And that, my friends, wraps up this year's edition of the Ultimate Guide to Keeping a Journal. I'll link up right here our journaling playlist. If you want more videos on journaling, you like this method, you want to use it for yourself, this is a great playlist. Every time we do this, it's a little different, and I think you'll get something from it. Thanks so much for being here. Again, My Best Journal is in the link below if you want to go deeper and learn the method in its entirety. And I'll see you in the next video. Stop settling, start living. Peace.